Hi guys, it's Friday, we're back in and we are making more progress on this table. So, already this morning I went ahead and I machined the legs to be square, and that was done using the jointer and table saw. And now I'm just going to finish roughing these out. So I'm going to cut them to their final length, do some marking out. On top of that, we've got to flatten the top, make some stretches and blah blah blah. Should be a good day. Ordinarily, if I was going to be batching these out, I'd make a sled and do it all on the table saw, but I'm only doing 2 of each, so, you know, why put in the extra? Okay, so they're all shaped. Now, do you remember yesterday when I said there wasn't going to be any more glue ups? I lied. I forgot about the thickness of the actual posts that these components go onto. So this here is the last bit of wood that I have from the house, and I need to cut the posts that go up out of this as well as the stretcher. So basically, it's this component here and this component here, but these components are double thick to match the chunky look of the overall table. So just before I glue everything up, I need to clean up my clamps because I'm having a bit of a crisis. Too much squeeze out over too many glue ups has just built up, and it's becoming increasingly hard to close my clamps all the way down. So I'm going to show you how I clean it up. I don't know if it's the best method, but it's the method I use. It's messy, but it works. So basically what I use is one of these, which is a strip and sand wheel. These are a little bit more aggressive than ideal. I think black is harder than the green ones, but you know, you get ones with a little bit of sponge in it. And you just ride it along the top. So the wheel itself shouldn't be hard enough to abrade the metal, but it should be hard enough to get rid of all of the glue and things that are on here. On these trickier bits, I just come through with a small scraper. The downside of using the harder one is that it will scratch your clamps up a little bit, which may mean it's harder to remove glue in the future, but it's not too bad. I mean, it's not that deep that it scratches. Anyway, onto the glue ups. Alright, so while that dries, I'm going to get on to leveling out this top. So it's already flat, I just need to get rid of all this epoxy and remove this glue line. That top came up a treat, however there was one or two places which needed just a little bit more resin. This was just a knot right down here, so it's not anything major. This once again is a knot, and then there's a few nail holes. This is the last part of the legs. I probably could work with it now, but the glue is still kind of soft and wet on the edges, and I don't want to send it through my blades to clean it up. So I'm going to leave that overnight and I'll finish that off tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, didn't quite get to the completed leg stage, but it is pretty much there. I mean, really it's cutting 2 tapers and then cutting some mortises. So down here you can see this would be the bottom. Then we have a pedestal in the middle, and then another one of these pieces go on top, and that's how we form our leg. Now I've had quite a few people ask about my clamps, so I use 2 sorts. These ones, which everyone knows, the Bessey K-bodies, I love these, they are very versatile, but they're probably not my favourite clamp for doing things like panel glue ups, like a tabletop. My favourite clamp for doing them are these T-style sash clamps. So you can see they're shaped as a T, and things to look out for, especially on the rail, is that this section, so the top of the T, is nice and thick and chunky, because if it's not thick, they're going to flex and they're pretty junk. I've been through a few cheap ones like that. Other things to look out for is a large amount of thread, so you want the threaded area to be longer than the gaps between the eyes. If it's not, it becomes hard finding suitable lengths for your clamps. And the other thing is, if you're finding these clamps for 30 bucks, they're probably junk. I've been through a lot of those ones, the cheap ones, they're rubbish. Once you start getting into the better ones, like $70 plus, they start becoming a really versatile and really great clamp. So this one here, which I would say is a medium quality, so this was about $65, 70 bucks. This is a good clamp, I love these ones. Nice long bit of thread, big footprint on the clamp here, and the bar is nice and rigid. On top of that, we've got lots of holes along the length. This one that's next to it, this is what I'd call a cheap piece of crap. It costs $36. You can see it's got a very short threaded area. The foot is really small. If you compare it to the good clamp T, it's nice and thick. To the cheap one, really thin and flimsy. Now, I'm not saying that this clamp doesn't get used, because I do use it. It's just it's not a very good quality clamp, because you always have to use blocks to space it out. You can't put too much pressure on it because it bows and it just deforms. But it does get me out of a pinch when I need a 1.8 meter long clamp. Anyway, I wasn't expecting that glue up. Kind of sad about that. But it's Friday, I'm going to get out of here, and I'll be in tomorrow to cross off my to-do list. Thanks for watching.